righty. Thank you so much for staying with us, guys. Now, weight loss has always been a hot topic, but recently one treatment in particular has taken center stage: semaglutide, a medication originally used to manage diabetes, now widely embraced for weight loss. While some hail it as a game changer, others raise concerns about its risks and the long-term effects. Here to give us a better understanding of how it works is Dr. Janice Simmons-Fisher, Clinical Director and Integrative Medical Specialist, Bioregeneration Integrated Medical Center. Whew! Welcome. Morning, how are you doing?
Thank you, Dejan. I'm happy to be here. I'm well.
That's a whole heap of stuff. Long title. Cosmetic weight loss. What happened to going to E-Park and going down, what's the road to the airport name again? Palisados, and doing the work the good old-fashioned way?
Right, I believe in that. I don't have, what we offer is a holistic approach. So whereas there are many who have a need for cosmetic weight loss, you're really not going to skip the whole wellness. You really want to look at your diet, your gut health, your stress management for long-term sustainable weight loss.
So it's not that you're promoting one over the other. If it is that you're opting for cosmetic weight loss, it should be in tandem with doing...
Absolutely. And, you know, the term cosmetic weight loss isn't confined to semaglutide. It may be injection under the chin, it may be an Ozempic or another GLP-1 medication, it may be liposuction. But really, as an integrative medical specialist, what we're putting together would be a holistic plan that's going to look at long-term health and long-term wellness and making sure that we're losing weight from fat, not from muscle, and that we're preserving wellness, optimizing health and longevity.
So I know that there are many risks associated with cosmetic weight loss in general. We're talking about our liposuctions or going under the knife in different kind of ways and stuff like this. Ozempic has been one that's been much talked about now. Is this in the same family? Because it's injectable? It is
a weekly injectable, and it is a medication. The GLP-1 drugs are really a synthetic version of something our own bodies make. So they're not entirely foreign. And while they're utilized a lot for, let's say, cosmetic weight loss, they have fundamentally more profound impacts too. So it kind of covers the gamut of everything with insulin resistance. So those are the patients with polycystic ovaries, with diabetes, with metabolic syndrome. And metabolic syndrome will cover not just diabetes, but high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and high elevated lipids. So it has a number of indications that, you know, it can be useful in.
But for a normally healthy person who wouldn't need this for medical reasons, if it is that I'm opting for this type of procedure, am I putting myself at risk because this is not something that I would have needed before? Right.
So if you don't need it, we always have to do a risk-benefit analysis, right? And that's where medical weight loss has to be supervised. So you can't really just decide. I mean, there are patients who, let's say, are not overweight but have polycystic ovaries. And there are some patients who meet the criteria for obesity, which is a BMI over 30, and others whose BMI is 27. So it's overweight, but they have another predisposing problem like diabetes or elevated cholesterol. So we can decide. So there are distinct indications, not just weight loss. But if there are no indications and you feel like going on it, then I don't think there would be a good trade-off for benefits versus risk.
What is this increased interest, though, in cosmetic weight loss? A lot of persons are just saying, you know, I'm just going straight for it. Forget the gym. I'm just going to do this. It's quicker. The quick fix.
Right. And I think we're always, looking for a quick fix and a magic bullet. It's our job, though, as physicians. You know, sometimes that hook may be a drug that is new, but it's our job as physicians to sort of really educate our patients at the same time. So the GLP-1 drugs may make it easier for you to eat better, but we're going to have to teach you to eat better. It may make it easier for you to exercise. It may make it easier for you to sit down and do the hard work, but that work will be needed.
Right.
And so it's important to really understand that there really isn't any magic bullet. It makes it easier. And it is fundamentally correcting underlying disturbances in insulin resistance and leptin resistance, and it's making you feel full earlier and reducing all of this excess eating where that is a situation. But it is important to manage that. It's not, without its own risk.
I know here in Jamaica too, a lot of the trends fall off the shores of the foreign,
Right,
the America,
right.
and it washes up on our shores just the same. And I see a lot of our girls, they're getting into plastic surgeries and all kinds of stuff. Is it something that we have a large take-up for here in Jamaica now?
Well, really and truly, I'm not a cosmetic surgeon. I'm an anti-aging practitioner. I do a lot with regenerative medicine. But I do often, I'll glean it from my own history. And what I can say is that there is a great acceptance of almost body positivity. Mm-hmm. And whether they choose to augment lips, lashes, or bottom, I mean, it's important that they understand the risks, they understand the benefits. But the idea of weight loss and obesity is really far-reaching because in our last health and lifestyle survey in Jamaica in 2016, 2017, we looked at combined obesity and overweight, and it was 70% in women and 40% in men. Mm-hmm. And the top 3 causes of death has metabolism as its core. So that's the heart disease, the cancers, and of course the neurological issues like dementia. And so obesity increases all of them. And if we can kind of go to the trunk and reduce the obesity, not really just the cosmetic weight loss, right, but go fundamentally deeper, then we really have a good angle. So the opportunity presents itself that whether you're doing it for image or you're looking at it for longevity, it really has its place in medicine at this time. But we want to make sure that we, speak to our patients, we do it medically supervised and in a sustainable way. So it's okay to want to shed a vanity 10 or 20 pounds. Sometimes it moves you from overweight to healthy weight.
Which should have been my next question. Primarily, though, the messaging really and truly is not necessarily for the vanity purposes, but
right,
just better overall health.
Exactly.
Better. And with this whole body image thing, a lot of girls, they're not loving themselves the way they ought to and stuff like that. What would your message to them be for persons who are saying, hey, I don't feel like my belly flat enough, even though when you do the BMI checks and stuff, they're quite fine. Your message to persons who are looking at it strictly from a vanity perspective.
I understand. I would say that there is, we try to have a biopsychosocial approach. There's always a mental health aspect to health, whether it's obesity or diabetes. It will have an impact on self-esteem. It may cause depression. And so it's important to discuss that with your physician. It's important to understand that you're not alone, that this is part of the journey. And as we work on your wellness, we work on optimizing the physical aspect. We also want to work on optimizing the mental aspect. And the journey to just self-love and self-appreciation starts with understanding, your whys, but it does take time. It does take working, sometimes with a mental health practitioner. But as a holistic practitioner, I do want to say that we have to work on that. And sometimes it's not an overnight process. It's just about, starting those baby steps towards a better mental health and a better physical health.
And for persons who are interested in this kind of procedure, where can they get additional information?
Oh, sure. Thank you. So we're at Bioregeneration Integrated Medical, and that's 15 Haining Road in New Kingston. You can call us or WhatsApp us at 876-552-6484. And we're on all social media, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, at Bioregeneration.
She mentioned something about anti-aging or reversing the age, because I want to be 20 forever, Londia. Leave me alone. I want to be 20. Dr. Janice Simmons-Fisher, Clinical Director and Integrative Medical Specialist, Bioregeneration Integrated Medical Center. More and we can smile right after this. That's Samantha. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you much.